Hi everyone, I'm Nick Bruning from netplan.com.au and welcome to another update on a common strategy that people employ to reduce their tax called salary sacrifice, but done incorrectly and you could be wasting more than $3,000 in tax. So what are we talking about? Well, salary sacrifice is a way of redirecting money from your pay into super. It's part of the bigger suite of things we call salary packaging. And salary packaging can include things like car payments, your mobile phone, laptop, all benefits provided by your boss, where hopefully you can save a bit of tax. But this particular one is all about redirecting some of your money to superannuation before the boss calculates your tax. Now, to understand how that works, we need to have a bit of a basic understanding of the tax system. So when you earn an income, you pay your tax. That's based on marginal rates of tax which vary depending on your income. So someone at an average age, say $100,000 a year, is sitting in a band of tax between $45,000 and $135,000, where you pay 30 cents in the dollar tax, so 30%, plus for most of us a 2% Medicare levy. So we're talking $3,200 in tax for every $10,000 that you get paid. Now, if you get that money in your hot little hand after tax, you're going to end up with $6,800. The idea of salary sacrificing is to say to the boss, okay, redirect $10,000 to superannuation. Now, instead of the boss calculating your tax on $100,000, it's going to be based on $90,000, the $100,000 less the 10 grand. Now, the thing is, when it's salary sacrificed into super, there's another tax that comes out called contributions tax. And for most of us, that's going to be 15%. Now think back to what I said before, 32% tax if you get the money in your hot little hand versus 15% tax if you contribute the money to super. So in other words, 15%, 32%, you know which one wins every time. And when you pay the money into superannuation, your $10,000 sees you with $8,500 invested. Now all that sounds fantastic. Except for some people, they're in a position where they might decide to salary sacrifice all of their income into superannuation. We often see this with couples. So perhaps we're relying on one person's income to pay all the bills. You've knocked off the mortgage and all those nice things. You've got that spare money and you're going to decide to stick it all into superannuation to boost your retirement nest egg. Good thinking. However, when we look at those tax rates, you might not realise it, but up to $18,200, you don't pay any tax. In fact, it's better than that. Thanks to a thing called the Low Income Tax Offset, or LITO, depending on your pronunciation, the amount of money you can earn before you pay any tax or Medicare levy is in fact $22,575. So below $22,575, we don't pay tax. But here's the thing, the super fund doesn't care how much money you pay personally in tax. That 15% contributions tax is going to come out of any concessional contribution made to super, including the money you've salary sacrificed. So here's the thing, you don't want to come below $22,575. Why? Because if you're continuing to salary sacrifice, that 15% is still coming out. All up, the extra tax you could waste by salary sacrificing below $22,575 is $3,386.25. Not to be sneezed at. On $100,000 income, that's a fair bit of money that you'd be wasting in tax. So the secret is to make sure that you don't salary sacrifice below that magical $22,575 figure. The easiest way is, there's nothing wrong with salary sacrificing. Remember that we've got an annual $30,000 limit. That's less than now 12% that the boss is paying in. So if you're on $100,000, that means there's already $12,000 going into super. That leaves you with a gap, if you like, of $18,000 that you can salary sacrifice into super, subject to the $22,575 lower limit. So an easy tip is to salary sacrifice maybe a couple of $100 per pay. Then towards the end of the financial year, May, June, you can go on to the ATO's website via my.gov.au, cost you absolutely nothing, and see what contributions have already been made. Then you can make, if you like, a max out contribution to superannuation for a couple of $100,000, few $1,000 to bring you up to exactly that $30,000 magical contribution cap, subject to the 22,575 value, and make sure that you're maxing out the system. You can do it after the financial year ends, before you lodge your tax return, and you can tell your super fund that you want it to be claimed as a tax deduction or not. It's entirely up to you. So there you have it. How to save yourself wasting more than $3,000 in tax. I'm Nick Bruning. There's more at netplan.com.au.